What's the most shameless double standard you've ever encountered? This happened about 10 years ago. My husband and I were having a disagreement, and he suggested we ask his best friend to mediate. I agreed. Before we started, we set one rule. I would explain the situation first, and my husband wouldn't interrupt until his friend had given his opinion. After that, my husband could respond. So, I explained. We had visited my husband's family for a holiday weekend. On the last day, we had plans to go out for brunch before heading home, but I was upset about something and decided to stay in the guest room instead of joining everyone at the table. My sister-in-law and mother-in-law both came to check on me, but I just stayed in the room. After brunch, we packed up and left, and I didn't say goodbye to anyone. Naturally, my husband was upset, and that's why we were having this argument. As I spoke, my husband tried to jump in a couple of times, but I gave him a look and he stayed quiet. His friend listened carefully, then looked at me and said, "Well, it's definitely your fault. No matter how upset you are, family members are innocent bystanders. They tried to include you and you still stayed angry. That's embarrassing for them. You didn't even say goodbye when you left. It's not about respect anymore. It's about basic decency." After saying this, he gave me a disappointed look and turned to my husband. My husband glanced at me, then frowned and said, "Actually, we were at her parents' house and I was the one who was upset. I skipped brunch, stayed in the guest room, and didn't say goodbye to anyone when we left. I was just too angry at the time." His friend's face went stiff and he awkwardly scratched his chin. After a beat, he turned back to me and said, "Well, in that case, it's still your fault. Your husband felt unsupported and isolated at your family's house. You should have been there to reassure him. You're the wife here after all."